Hey guys, it's been a long time since we came with you guys with a new build, but we have a brand new build today, and it's going to help you guys get through Escalation if you're a repeater player. So stay tuned, we got a lot in store to talk about. It's going to be some gameplay at the end, and I'll leave a link in the description to a timestamp where you guys can check that out, as well as I'll have it on the screen so you guys can click straight to that if you just want to see the gameplay of the build in action. But we're going to talk about it in depth so you guys can understand why we chose the pieces that we chose. Okay, so this is a repeater based build. I'm calling the Guardian build because this build is all about maintaining and your shields and constantly having shields. Now this is a build that I have tested and tried out in other game modes, and it is usable, but it is perfected for Escalation. This is an Escalation build at its utmost finest. So we're rocking the repeaters. Great. Now what are we going to do with these repeaters to make them great? Now we're going with this combination of the Fiery Helm, Heart of Stone, Shocking Grasp, and Pillars of Stone. The reason why we're doing that is because we had a couple of perks that we wanted to kind of base this whole build around. Of course, it's the Guardian build, so we're going with the Guardian perk. You're going to get that from going with the Pillars of Stone legs, and then you're going to put Strategist on that, and we'll talk about that in a second. But from going with Pillars of Stone legs and Heart of Stone, both of these come with +3 Guardian. As you see, that's going to give you that maxed out Guardian status. Those of you that don't know, 60% of your health shields applied to yourself is going to go to your nearest ally for 15 seconds. So your allies are going to get 60% of your shields. So this is all about shields. Of course, our Lantern, we're going with Scar's Defiance. Why? Because of your instant. You're going to get a 250 point health shield for 6 seconds. So for 6 seconds, you're going to have a shield, and your teammate is going to get 60% of that shield. So that's already buffing them up in a sense. Now we're going with the Vase of Fury. I want to talk about that really quickly because as you dodge, you're going to gain attack speed. The reason why we want attack speed is to not just to do damage, but more so we want the attack speed so that way we can build up our Lantern for our hold ability, which is just like a swirl of damage, but it's going to come into play for Escalation because I'm going to talk about the traits that you can get, the talents that you can get from the new talent system that's going to complement this build and put it over the top. Etheric Attunement, we're going with Etheric Attunement because you're going to get that 50% Lantern charge from your attacks, and that's going to come in play because this build is about building up your Lantern charge, using it often, and then your 40-second cooldown on your instant, you're using it as often as you can. By using both of those abilities and a talent that I'm going to show you guys, you're going to constantly have shields, and it's going to make doing the whole Escalation process a lot easier for your teammates, and they won't even know where it's coming from. So your Vase of Fury, like I talked about, is designed completely to give you attack speed so you can continue building up your Lantern charge. And then Evasion, of course, we're going with Evasion because the Repeaters has that mobility window, and then Fiery Helm, which we decided to go with that because of a Vase of Fury, and that is going to allow you to be able to dodge pretty much anything, so you're going to constantly have that 20% attack speed charge. The dodging is good, of course, because the more you dodge, when you're supposed to dodge, you're going to be able to take less damage overall while maintaining your shields. And then the biggest thing here that I really like is Strategist. Strategist, those of you that don't know, you're going to have to get Trials currency, and you're going to have to use that currency from Trials to actually get it from Lady Luck. If you go to Lady Luck, then you can actually access the sales that she sells, and then you can purchase the Strategist. I believe it's 150. I'll show you guys in a second where to get that at if you don't know. And then last, we had one other thing left over, and which was from our Shocking Grasp here, and we just put Etheric Frenzy. Etheric Frenzy is just, we went with that instead of something like Conduit because we wanted, again, this whole build is designed to constantly have your Lantern ability charged and ready to use as often as possible, so that way when you use it in combination with a talent, you're going to actually have your shielding up to a pretty high amount, and then in combination with Guardian, giving 60% of your shields to your whole teammates, and Strategist, when you dodge through attacks, your teammates are going to get 150 health shields. It's going to be a lot of shielding going around. And then if we look at our actual weapon of choice, we're going with the Sylvan Barrel. The reason why we're going with this particular barrel at all times is because as you go through the hunt, eventually you're going to proc the barrel, and terror weapons, they create an aura that gets attached to the behemoth, and then when you hit the behemoth, it makes these little green health balls, and you can actually get pure health back, which is pretty cool. And when we look down at our prism, we're going with Stoneheart Prism because it's going to give you even more shielding, which is going to come in handy. The shielding is really going to allow you to get through a lot of situations because a lot of these behemoths hit pretty hard. So you're going to be ready for escalation. Now, let's talk about these talents. The one talent that you need, which is really great because you can get it right at the beginning, is Torrent Shield. Using your Lantern Hold ability grants 300 health shields to all Slayers for 15 seconds. So this is what's going to allow you to go over the top. Because this, again, the whole build is designed on getting your Lantern Hold ability as fast as possible. So that way, when you get it and you have Torrent Shield while you're in escalation, you pop that hold ability, boom, 300 shield to your entire team. Your entire team gets 300 shield, and because you're popping that so fast, and then you look at Skarn's Defiance, the instant ability on that is going to give you 250 health shield, and that's going to spread off to your teammates because of Guardian. So there's a lot of shielding going around all the way. Now, I do want to show you guys where to get these actual cells as far as the strategic cell. If you walk over here to Lady Luck, here she is right here. Go to her store, and it is right here. Reduce max health, dodging through behemoth attacks, grants health shields to all Slayers. You want to use 300 of your coins and get that done so you can actually get the cells to make this build. Now, this week is a really good week to do trials because it's a fairly easy opponent. If you got a team, you shouldn't have any problems with it. And then I'll just show you guys this. If you go to trials, you'll see it's Firebrand Rog, and it's relatively easy to do. You don't have to do it in 3 minutes. 3 minutes will be perfect because then you'll have enough credits to get it. But also, if you don't want to do trials, it's a-okay. If you look here, if you have the elite version, once you get to level 3, you're going to get 200 steel marks, which you can use to purchase at least one of those. Or if you don't have the elite version and you get to 13, you'll get 200 steel marks, and you can use that to purchase one. So you can at least get one of the steel marks and use that to get one of the cells very early on. And if you make it to 28, you're going to get another 200 steel marks, and then it'll be 400, and that's more than enough steel marks to actually purchase both of the cells. So this build is actually very achievable, and this is something that's going to benefit you pretty much as long as escalation is a thing and that trait remains the same. And again, with Torrent Shield being so early into the talent tree, you can get that and be good to go very, very early, and this build is going to take you all the way out to here. Now, on another note, I will be doing a video where I talk about these talents and talk about some of my favorites and preferreds, so be on the lookout for that. And the last thing that I want to show you guys is some gameplay. So if you made it this far, we're going to cut over to some gameplay, and I'll just talk over it and let you guys know some of the things that strengthens this build. If you find the channel for the very first time, I appreciate you finding it, and be sure to join the fleet by hitting the like and subscribe button and being a part of this fantastic community. Alright, now we're going to get into some B-roll, and I'll talk about it. Alright, so I started it at the point where we're actually getting the talent that I talked about earlier in the video. Right there, Torrent Shield, that's the talent that you need. Using your Lantern Hold ability is going to give all of your teammates a 300 health shield, and that's what's going to put you over the top and take you to where you need to be. In combination with the Skarn's Lantern that I talked about earlier in the video, using that tap ability is going to give you 250 health shield, and 60% of that health shield is going to go to your teammates. So Guardian is coming into effect, and then using your hold ability like I talked about in combination with that talent we just got is going to give your teammates even more shielding. Not to mention that when you actually dodge through an attack like we just did, even though we don't really have an indicator on that, your teammates just got a health shield, and then boom, we stacked it up. There we are. We're using our hold ability right there, and our shields is skyrocketing. It's a lot of protection, and not only for you but for your teammates. Now the trade-off, of course, with using a build like this is you yourself as a repeater player are not doing as much damage as you would be doing with a damage focused build, But the goal here is to maintain survivability for your teammates. If you have 3 other teammates whose primary dedication is damage, then you are fully capable of being that player on the team that is healing. Now I just want to call out some other significant moments in this clip just to show you guys what I am talking about. Look, every 40 seconds you're going to get your instant ability. We proc that, boom, we get 250 shielding, and then our teammates get that 60%, like I keep adjusting. And then there's our hold ability again. Now you're going to get your hold ability back extremely quickly because of that +6 etheric attunement, even with that +3 etheric frenzy. So a lot of your hits are just constantly replenishing your lantern hold ability. So as we see that when we dodge, we're going to get that ability as well. And then you see the barrels glowing green. Now in this instance, that's cause of another particular skill that is also advisable to get during your run, which is Breath of Life, and that's going to give you health back every time you take damage. So as you see with this particular combination, right, you're not invincible. As you see, we just took damage right there, but for the most part you're not going to die. Our cooldowns are off right now because we're a little far away from the behemoth, but every second is an opportunity for your lantern shield to proc, and then boom, once that instant pops, you got a shield back. Now that could have been a one-shot, but it was not because of the shielding, right? If you stay on the target, which depending on the behemoth, it's a lot easier to stay on the target, you'll get your shielding up, and then boom, you're right in a position to where you got that shielding up. Look, your health's halfway, but you got tons of shielding and you're good to go. I chose this clip because I thought it was a good example of showing you guys what it means to be a guardian for your team and what it means to succeed in that particular position. I hope you guys actually learned something from this clip, or at least got an opportunity to see how this is going to be displayed. And yeah, to wrap up the video, again, I just appreciate it. If you definitely made it this far, please join the fleet by hitting that sub button. And I will catch you guys in the next video. And hopefully we'll be coming out with more builds very, very soon. Peace.